Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Grumpy Guy Show. I'm Derek McAllister, and it looks like it's going to be a solo show tonight. Probably a short one. You know, I've said that many times in the past, but you know, being solo, it's probably going to happen. I've got 4 topics. Yeah, one of them's kind of a 3-parter, but you know, they're all pretty quick, I think. You know, one of them might drag out a little bit, but we've talked about it before. So, what do you say we jump right into the first topic? So, first up, we have a topic I called Photos Gone Wrong. So, in the past, we've spoken a little bit about selfies, you know, and people getting hurt doing selfies or whatever. But, you know, that's one piece of it here. There was a couple of young people who, in Scotland apparently, who actually fell to their death while taking selfies. And it wasn't like it was something, you know, it wasn't something that I perceive as being a quick death either. I mean, they, you know, pretty simple. They fell into water. You know, they were someplace where they were, you know, trying to pose to get, you know, a nice shot. I can't remember if it was waterfalls or just a stream, something like that. You know, but at any rate, it was fast moving water, so it wasn't slow. You know, it wasn't like a gentle river or anything like that. And they fell in. My guess is, unless they hit their head on the way down, that, you know, they drown, which can be a slow death, you know. Especially if you're trying to fight the current, you know, then you get tired and you slowly drown, and you know that it's going to happen because you're tired. You're unable to swim anymore. You're unable to fight the current, you know. So think about that, folks, you know. It's really, really not that, it's not worth it. I mean, yeah, maybe it's a once-in-a-lifetime picture, but you don't want that to be the last picture of your lifetime. And the next one kind of goes along with that. So I believe it was in the Chicago area. 6 people found some cubs in a tree, pulled the cubs out of the tree so that they could take pictures with the cubs, holding them. One lady was so excited that she was holding this cub, she starts jumping up and down and drops the cub. And it runs away, and they try and grab this thing. You know, and it's like, oh my God. So they're trying to grab this, and they're going on, and they're like, they're chasing this thing down. You know, and I'm like, holy crap. And this lady, she had her cell phone. Obviously, she knew that it was wrong, but she was taking video with her cell phone, so she couldn't call the police right then. And, you know, in ways, yeah, she should have put the phone down, but in others, she was right for not putting the phone down. Why? Well, because she got good video of all 6 of these people, got their faces, and they were all arrested. Yeah, they were all arrested. I don't know what kind of charges, I don't remember what the charges were, but I don't know what kind of fines or jail time it may lead to, but, you know, that cub that got dropped is actually in a trauma facility for wild animals. You know, it's traumatized. And, you know, the thing these people obviously weren't thinking about, a mother bear, unless she is killed, isn't going to be all that far away. Now, they were talking to an expert about it, and, you know, putting cubs in a tree that the mother feels is safe, I guess that's a common practice, you know. Put them in a tree so they can go and do something, whether that's get some food or, you know, whatever. And I honestly don't remember what they said was part of the whatever, but it's a common thing. But they're not going to be gone that long. The fact that these people did this and didn't get attacked by the mother bear is simply amazing. And, I don't care that there's 6 of them. They're going to have, if that mother bear had come back, I'd hate to be any one of those 6 people, because, a mother bear protecting her cubs is dangerous. Really, really dangerous. And 6 people are going to be hurting if they try and do anything other than get away from it. Think about that, folks. Is it worth it? Number one, they're getting fined. And you see this more and more where people are doing dangerous things with wild animals. You look out at, they're talking about out in Utah. I can't remember what national park it is, but some national park out there. There's buffalo that roam around, and you can, the walkways for humans go right through where these buffalo are. And these people, they're getting super, super close to the buffalo and then wondering why they get gored. Well, you know what? It's a wild animal protecting its territory. It doesn't care that you're a person. It doesn't think that you're at the top of the food chain. It thinks of you as a threat to its food source or a threat to its family. So it's going to do what it can to get rid of you. Think about that. These are wild animals. They're not some kind of tame animal that, has been around humans all their life and, has been taught respect or, respect. You got to really put that in quotes. But they haven't been taught to fear humans. That's a better phrase. So think about that. The next time you decide that you want to try and get a selfie with a wild animal, is it worth your life? Or at a lesser extent, is it worth the fine that you may end up getting? Your life, serious hospital bills, medical bills, because, insurance companies are going to fight that. If there's, evidence of you trying to get too close and dangerous with them, there's a good chance that they're going to say, they're going to say, well, we're not going to cover that. And a judge might follow it. And I apologize for this stupid, are you still there thing? Because seriously, Google, you know that there's sound coming through. You can see the video. Come on. That's a problem with being solo, I guess. Maybe I should have started up a second session or something. I don't know. Joined it. Who knows? But hopefully I'll catch those. It already threw me off once. I had to restart. Luckily I was barely into the intro. So at any rate, so the next thing, and the reason that I changed the category or the topic title from selfies gone wrong to photos gone wrong. So I believe it was last night on the news. They actually said something about some lady was posing for a photograph at the rim of a volcano, an active volcano, which, that's dangerous as it is, because an active volcano could erupt at any point in time. And I don't care, you could be Usain Bolt or Carl Lewis or anybody who's really, really fast. You're not going to run faster than the damn lava is going to spew out. You're going to die. But at the rim of a volcano, so that somebody could take a picture. Okay, great. She's not taking a selfie. That's one thing learned. One lesson apparently learned. Well, apparently another lesson is don't take a picture next to an active volcano. She fell 31 feet down into the volcano. Now, what happened, whether she died or not, I don't know. They didn't say. But you know what? it's going to be hot in there. You know, molten lava is hot. I mean, in case you don't know it, molten lava is rocks. To have something hot enough to melt a rock, just a regular rock. You pick it up, a piece of rock. That's melted. Imagine the heat that it takes to do that. Well, now this lady's down there. I don't know how close she was to it, but to me, no thanks. Not worth it. So seriously, folks, start thinking about this stuff. Don't just, you can play games with, you don't even have to do it with Photoshop. You can play games with the angles so that you can make it look like you're right at the edge, but you're still 30 feet away. It's possible. I mean, seriously. We just got to stop being such a stupid species. We have to, in this case, you have to respect Mother Nature. And the fact that these people did not respect Mother Nature at all, and I mean, those 6 people are lucky to get away with their lives. They're lucky that those cubs didn't go crazy on them and gouge them up, because, yeah, it's not all teeth that do it. Bears have sharp claws. They will gouge you. And a cub just doesn't know it yet. But a cub could have done a lot of damage to those people. Anyway. So let's move on to another topic that we've spoken about here and there. But now the term peaceful is coming into question. So at campuses all over the world, or not all over the world, well, maybe all over the world, I don't know, but at least across the United States, there's a lot of campuses where there's protest against the war in Israel, and I can't say I blame them, not at all. I mean, it's war crimes. I've said it before, it's war crimes. They have killed now 34,000 plus civilians. And don't get me wrong, I get it. Hamas is hiding behind civilians. But at the same time, that does not give Israel the right to just go in and blindly bomb them. It does not give Israel the right to say, okay, we'll move south because we're not going to attack there. Oh, now that you're in the south, well, you got to move someplace else because we're going to attack there. Seriously, these are war crimes. They are truly attacking civilians, and to me, the way that I see it, they aren't doing anything different than what Putin is doing in Ukraine. Simply put, they're attacking people. That's all there is to it. They're attacking civilians. They've demolished entire cities. There's we're supposed to be in a quote civilized era, as far as warfare is concerned and everything, but this isn't civilized at all, and it's getting ridiculous. But what brought this topic back in is the fact that these a lot of these protests now are people who claim it's a peaceful protest and everything, but then when the cops are brought in to ask them to leave, they don't leave, and then they start to get violent. They start hitting cops with objects. They start throwing things at cops. And as the mayor of New York City actually said, a peaceful protest does not include throwing chairs or bottles at police officers. One police officer's helmet was dented from being hit by a chair. How is that peaceful? It's not. At the same time, should they be removing these people? If they're being peaceful, truly peaceful, then no. But the problem is, you get a lot of anti-Semitic statements being made. And it goes back to, long ago. I mean, I say long ago. It really wasn't all that long ago. But, protests or, anti-Semitic statements, I mean, it has nothing to do with the Jews in America. The Jewish population in America, they're not the ones that are over there in Israel fighting, They're not the ones that are going into Gaza and destroying things and killing people. And there was actually on tonight's news, there was actually talk of, they went and they spoke with a professor at one of these universities where there's a big actual peaceful protest, and he's actually Jewish, and he said, I side with them, with these protesters, because what Israel is doing is wrong. Where I draw the line is anti-Semitic statements, or I can't remember the other term he used, but it meant anti-Palestine statements. Basically, it's not the Palestinians who are doing it. It's the people, it's Hamas, who is basically a terrorist group. Yes, they were in charge, but, it wasn't necessarily these 34,000 Palestinians who put them in power. I mean, seriously. We've got to get away from this violent crap here in the United States about something that's happening overseas. If you truly have an issue with, as I do, the way Israel is conducting the war, then you need to speak up and say something to your representatives and say, hey, listen, stop sending them money. And my understanding is that the Biden administration told Israel, do not retaliate with to Iran. But what they do, they went and they retaliated anyhow. And supposedly there's some kind of military sanctions against them that the United States has actually raised. So yeah, our politicians are seeing the fact that we don't like this. We don't like how it's being done. We don't like how Israel's conducting themselves, and we don't want to pay for it. And of course, all that happens when the House passes a bill that the Senate is expected to pass that gives Israel like $21 billion in aid. It's ridiculous. You know what? That $21 billion could have gone a lot better to Ukraine than it can to Israel. At least that's my opinion. All right. So enough of that one, because, to me, that's just really, really dumb. That's Israel being completely stupid about, the way that they're handling things. And it's people in the United States showing that, we're not necessarily thinking. We're not as advanced as we think we are. I mean, there's you want to protest, that's fine, but do it peacefully, which means that you're not vandalizing things. You're not hitting people. You're not attacking people. Especially people who are just doing their job. Because there's a very good chance that a lot of these police officers believe in these protests and understand that, hey, it's a good thing. But what they aren't going to believe in is attacking somebody, even if that somebody is not a police officer. All right. So the next topic. Our favorite politician on this show, Mr. Trump. However, I'm not going to say anything negative about him on this one. So this is about all of the pictures that you're seeing from him being in court. Granted, I understand he's not happy about being there, and he believes he's innocent. But number one, I don't understand how or why these reporters are allowed to get directly in front of him to take a picture. I'm not talking, if you haven't seen any of them, just go ahead and take a look at just about any news outlet out there. They're going to have pictures of it. It's a picture directly in front of him. And of course, they can't show anything other than him with a scowl on his face. Don't get me wrong. I'm not in the courtroom. I don't know. Maybe he always has a scowl on his face while he's in there. Something tells me he doesn't. But, to me, as much as I don't like Trump, it looks much, much more to me like the media is trying to say he's a very mean person, a very negative person. They're trying to portray him in a specific way, and it's not right. The media is not supposed to do that. If that's the look on his face all the time, okay, I get it. I'll take it back. But, seriously, every single picture. And, if you're just listening to the audio, I just made a real grumpy face. And come on. Let's move on. All right. Speaking of moving on, told you it's probably going to be a short one. So we'll get to the last topic I have in here. And that is designer dog food. Yes. We're talking about, I can't, the only one, the commercial that kind of set me off wasn't actually, now I even lost that brand. It was Farmers Fresh or something like that is the commercial. And, it gets me going every time I see this stuff. And, there's the other one where, it's not pet food. It's, Pet Fresh or something like that, and I'm like, is it food for your pet? Well, if the answer is yes, then yeah, it's food for your pet, and then they show, they weren't right for me anyhow. Okay. So, I don't get it, folks. So basically, instead of giving your dog something that's reasonably priced, that's going to give them a full feeling and give them the full nutrition that they need, you're going to go out and you're going to spend 4 to 5 times as much just to give your dog table scraps. That's right, folks. These quote fresh meals, they claim to be fresh and everything, but basically they're just scraps, just like the dry dog food is. It's all scraps. It's parts of the animal that humans won't eat or don't eat enough of. Simply put, when we first got our dog, I asked our vet, I said, what do you recommend for food? Because I don't mind spending a fair amount of money to get quality food for her. And he said, well, I went to this one show. It was about pet food. And I spoke with somebody, who gave me the lowdown. So when you talk about ingredients, for human food at least, and apparently pet brands do it as a de facto, but basically ingredients are listed by weight, which means, when you buy something, say let's say you buy like a hamburger, it's going to list beef as the first ingredient because that's the heaviest ingredient. So then spices are listed much lower. Well, when you're buying dog food or cat food even, Yes, this covers cat food as well. Basically, with human food, they have to, if they put meat in there as the first ingredient, that meat can't be pumped up with water. That is the weight of the meat. Where with pet food, the way these expensive brands get away with saying, "Oh, well, we've got beef first, or we've got lamb first," what they do is they actually pump the meat up with water before it's weighed. They can do that legally there because the restrictions are much, much lower. So, that's how they get that. So my vet said, what you do, you go out, you get the cheapest dog food that your dog can tolerate, as long as it says complete balanced nutrition. He said, as long as it has that on there, that's a legal requirement. They can't put that on there unless it does meet the nutritional needs of the pet. He said, but you get that, and that's what you feed your dog, and your dog will be happy, and your dog will be healthy. And I don't go the lowest price. I go with Purina. I don't go with Purina 1. I get dog chow. She's happy. And recently we're probably going to end up sticking with it, but Tractor Supply has a brand. I don't know what the name of what the brand is, but it's their brand. It's about the same price. She seems to tolerate it a whole lot better, seems to like it a lot better. Okay, I'm going to go with that. But she's healthy, and that's all that matters. In every single check that she's had, she's been healthy. All right. So, you know what? You want to spend the money to buy that quote, fresh food. That's fine. That's your choice. You go ahead and do that. But just understand that, you're not really doing anything better for your pet. That's just the way it is. All right. So, I am actually adding a topic here. And it has to do with the police shooting that we talked about last week. Just wanted to give an update. Now, I said that, this last week, I said something along the lines of, there was no reason for this person to run or anything like that. Well, it turns out that when speaking with some of this person's friends, this person and all of his friends had the thought in their head that the police were out to get them. And, unfortunately, this person took it a lot more seriously than his friends took it. And apparently that's why he ran, because apparently he did speed off. But that's why he ran, and that's why he went to his house, and that's why he came out shooting. Really unfortunate. These two officers lost their lives because he had some mental issues. And apparently it had not been noted that he had mental issues. So it's not like he got the guns illegally or anything like that. He just had it in his head that cops were out to get him. So it's really unfortunate, but thought I'd throw in an update just because I did mention it last week and I didn't know a whole lot about it, but that seems to be what his motive was. So, all right, I'm sure you've heard that music starting up in the background. So we'll see you.